Welcome back to 1% Talks hosted by me, Nano Torres. And I am so blessed and I am so grateful to be on this call with each and every single one of you guys on this beautiful Thursday morning, April 27th. I am so blessed and I'm so grateful because today we have a very special guest on 1% Talks. And I'm extremely excited for this incredible interview that we're going to be going over here today. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes to just open up the floor for everybody, make sure that everybody, gets in and just knows. But just know, for those wondering, what is 1% Talks, Nano? I've been watching you do them now for the last couple of weeks. And, a couple of weeks ago, I actually decided that, I was on YouTube. And for some reason, YouTube wasn't allowing me to go live. So it kind of worked out in my favor because for one day, YouTube didn't allow me to go live. I was like, you know what? Let me go on Instagram and let me do an interview to one of my good friends, Matt. And, we named it 1% Talks. And then next thing you know, I was like, the idea came to my mind. I was like, why don't I just start interviewing the most successful entrepreneurs, real estate developers, athletes, you name it. Let me interview the top 1% people on the mindset that is needed to become a part of the 1%. And since we've done them, we've gotten a lot of amazing, feedback from everybody. People absolutely love 1% Talks. It's actually been something that, a lot of people look forward to each and every single Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm excited, and we've had some incredible speakers, but today we have one that I have been extremely excited about, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear from this individual. So in the meantime, while we're getting everybody in, make sure that you're spreading the word in all your group chats, all your telegrams, all your discords. Send this out to 3 people that you feel like need to hear the message today, because man, this is an individual that I got a chance to watch live. And when I watched him live, he literally had all of us shedding tears and really feeling extremely inspired about what the next step was right after that event. So I'm extremely excited for this IG live, guys. And we're going to be starting it up here in the next 2 minutes or 3 minutes or so. I just want to make sure that we continue to spread the word. But I hope everybody's having a great morning on this beautiful Thursday morning. And I hope that everybody is excited for this. Make sure that you guys grab your pens and your papers. One thing about me is when I'm studying the 1%, I take notes. So I have my journal here. I have my notebook as well. And, we're ready to go. We're ready to take notes because, this is an individual that has trained over 1 million people and is mentored by Tony Robbins. So, this is someone that has an incredible mindset, and you don't want to miss this, guy. So we have already over 80 people on the IG live, and I am excited. Yes, Nick will be joining in exactly 2 minutes, guys. Just want to make sure that we set the floor up. We set everything up for Nick before we bring him on. Get a couple of people on. So let's make sure we send this out to 3 people. Let the word out to everybody, because I am very excited for this. And I hope that you guys are ready with your pens and papers, because this is going to be one of those lives that you do not want to miss. So real quick, if you're ready to take notes, if you're ready for Nick, okay, I want you guys in the chat box to type a 333 in the chat box if you guys are ready for our special guest. Okay, so quick backstory as to how it is that, we were able to make all of this happen. And then I'll bring up Nick. So Nick, I know you're in here, you're ready to go. So let's rock this. So, I went to this incredible event at the beginning of the year. Alex Moore was actually hosting it, and it was called Break the Code. And Break the Code was a life-changing event for me and a lot of people, right? We got a chance to hear from Nick. We got a chance to hear from Ed Milet, Alex Morton, and a lot of great entrepreneurs. Even Grant Cardone was there. And at that event, we got a chance to hear from Nick. And mind you, Nick was an individual that was born with no legs, 1 arm. Okay, so I was excited to hear from this individual, because it was like, yo, how is it that this individual was able to go from being someone that was born with no legs and 1 arm to speaking on stages all over the world and inspiring people? Like, how did he do it? I couldn't wait to hear his story. He was, if there was anyone that I was excited to hear, it was him and Ed Milet. Those were the two people that I was looking forward to the most. And when he went on stage and he shared his mindset with us and he shared his story and the keys to overcoming self-doubt and the way that he expressed his message, the way that he delivered the message, it left a lot of us stunned. Like, we were there like, yo, if he's doing it, we need to be doing it. If he overcame self-doubt, we can overcome self-doubt. If he has this level of belief and confidence in himself, then we can do the exact same thing as well. And I remember leaving that event more inspired, with more belief, with more confidence than ever before. And ever since then, I've been following Nick. I've been taking a look at his content, and the life that he lives is absolutely incredible. He lives a life of purpose. And that's why I respect this individual so much. And I got to give a huge shout out to my sis, Claudia. Claudia was the one that made the connection for me when we went to a little after party, and she was like, yo, you got to meet Nick. I would love for you guys to connect and, do a podcast one day, do an IG live. And I was like, yes, absolutely. So, Claudia, if you're on here, I just want you to know, thank you so much for making that connection and for making this, all come together. And my brother Ratmir as well. So shout out to you guys for, making this all happen. But with that being said, for those who don't know who Nick is, Nick is one of the most inspiring individuals on social media. All right. Like, if you don't follow him, after this, you're going to follow him. Nick is an individual that has trained over 1 million people worldwide. Okay. He's actually certified in neurolinguistic programming. He's mentored by one of our mentors. You guys all know Tony Robbins. He's mentored by these individuals. And this is somebody that, when it comes to self-belief, when it comes to overcoming that doubt, he is teaching people worldwide how to do that. We're talking about a global keynote speaker and author, and he's actually participated in tons of philanthropy activities worldwide, guys. So if you guys are excited to learn and for me to interview Nick, put some fire emojis in the chat box, because without further ado, I'm going to bring up my brother, the legend, the myth himself, Nick Santonastaso. We're excited for this, man. Let's go. We're just welcome him in, and we're gonna get this call rocking. Let's go. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, brother.
Yeah, I can hear you good.
I'm great. Can you hear me?
Good?
All right?
How you feeling today, my brother?
Yes, all good. I'm great, man. Thanks for the opportunity. Let's
bro.
give some
I
value
was
to the
excited,
people
man. And I know that you're a busy guy. You got a lot of things going on. So the fact that you took the time today to, share some value with my community, I want you to know that we are extremely grateful for you, bro. And that, none of this goes, unnoticed, and it's not taken for granted. So we appreciate you so much. Thank you for all the service. Thank you for all the things that you do behind closed doors, because you're a true inspiration to me and you're a true inspiration to people worldwide, bro. So thank you so much.
Got it, brother. I appreciate
Yeah, man.
you.
And yo, great job at Break the Code, man. Break the Code was next level, man. That was amazing what you did out there, bro.
I appreciate it. Just to touch on that as well is, you see people do something amazing on stage, them do something amazing in the workplace. You have to understand that person has mastery, right? And so I think, I've been speaking for about 6 years. I think the majority of my speaking career, I was teaching or preaching a place of like, I'm enough, like I'm trying to win you over. And there gets to the point of, I think, competency and mastery where you start serving from a place of, I already know I already know great. I already know I'm one of the GOATs, right? And when you serve from that place, it's way more abundant. I think it's way more heart-centered when you do the work behind the scenes, get paid for.
That's beautiful,
public,
bro.
right?
And you've been an inspiration for all of us, man. And you are one of the GOATs, bro. Like, you gotta walk like it. You gotta have that confidence like it. And you walked up there and you showed us that you was one of those guys, that you deserved to be up there. But Nick, a lot of people don't know your story, man. And I got a chance to hear a little bit of your story at Break the Code. But a lot of our followers, people who are gonna be watching the recording to this, they don't know your story. And just so you're aware, 1% Talks, was something that I started a couple of weeks ago. And I decided to do it because I wanted to study the 1% of people that have that 1% mindset, and just study them and see what are the key tips and tricks that they use to become a part of the 1%. And I know for a fact that you're one of those individuals. So I want you to talk to us. How did you develop that 1% mindset? But before you do so, I want you to tell us a little bit about your story and how it is that you've gotten to where you've gotten today over the last 26 years.
Yeah, 100%. So I was born with a super rare genetic disorder and heart syndrome, but undeveloped limbs or undeveloped organs. So at the time of my birth in 1996, I was the 12th baby in
Wow.
medical history that happened to. And out of the 12, 8 of those babies passed away. And so they gave me about a 30% chance to live. I survived, and the only thing that was affected were my limbs. And so organs were 100% healthy, and I got no legs, one arm, and a beautiful face. And so there's I want to note for the people listening and for you as well is, you know, being being a kid with no legs and one arm, my parents wouldn't do the work for me. They would put my clothes in front of me and be like, okay, figure it out. Or they put my food in front of me and be like, okay, figure it out. And there was massively important things that they were cultivating my mind to. I want everybody to note this. The first one was I got very familiar with failure, right? Most people, like, and I say the time is you can have all your limbs, legs and all your arms and still be handicapped by your upbringing, right? Maybe you were sheltered, maybe you were in a bubble, maybe you didn't experience failure, maybe you fall down and get hurt. And so I became very, very familiar with failure, and I realized that failure was part of the process. It was part of everything for me. And so I have a little quote, a little rhyme: if failure is a friend, you'll learn till the end. If there's a foe, you'll never grow. And so oftentimes one of the biggest things that gets in people's way is value over here. They're trying to run towards success, but they're trying to run away from failure. That doesn't make sense, right? It's like, I want to be successful, but I want to stay in this winning streak. I never want to fail. And you can't have success without failure. You also can't have success without rejection. And so that was the other thing, is I got very familiar with rejection. And so for those that are listening right now, if you're trying to success, you have to experience failure and rejection, right? And I'm a firm believer, the more that you experience failure and rejection and don't let it shake you, the more you master what we call, you master your internal state, and you don't let the specific things derail you, right? Oftentimes, like, even in the, it doesn't work, or this doesn't work, and the truth is it works, you quit too soon, or you couldn't handle the failure, you couldn't handle the rejection. And so, yeah, someone said rejection was my protection. That's a good rhyme right there too. Rejection, protection. And so if you're moving towards success but running away from rejection and failure, you're going to be running in circles. And so those were the two really important things. Is I developed great relationships with failure and rejection, but also my brain at a very early age was programmed to be solution oriented. Now what you'll notice is most humans walk around and they're focusing on the problem. And we need to understand that our problems need focus to live. Focus is the gasoline to our problems. And so you can have a small, teeny weeny problem, and if you focus all your energy on it, it may become overwhelming. It may become maybe handicap, it cripples you. And so I'm a firm believer you get paid in direct correlation to the problems that you solve. And so what if every single time you experience a problem, a challenge, a trial, a tribulation, that was your creator's sign of telling you that you're moving in the right direction? So just to fast forward, and I don't, well, we can go wherever you want to go with this, but I grew up, I had a very hard time in middle school and high school with women and self-love and confidence and body image, and we can go through that. And then I became a wrestler. I had to make some sacrifices for that. I became a Viner. For those that remember Vine back in the day, I was the guy who used to dress up as a zombie and scare people, and I got famous for it. And then I evolved into a bodybuilder, and then I evolved into a speaker, and then I evolved into a wizard. Just mastering the body, mastering the mind, and mastering human psychology, so no one has to suffer, even if they have all their legs and all their arms. So there's all these outlets that we can go, and I'm an open book. So wherever you want to take
first,
me,
I just want to say, man, like, your story is so inspiring, bro. Like, there's so many people that would have used your situation as an excuse to just settle, but you use it as fuel to, just keep going and create the best life for yourself. And I just want you to know, bro, that thank you so much for never giving up, for using your story as an inspiration, because it's honestly, you know, it's so inspiring to see it all happening and coming together. And this question that I got for you is, you know, and this was, I was thinking about, I was like, what questions that and I wanted to be very intentional. You know, what was that clicking moment for you, Nick, that, you know, when you realized like, yo, okay, I have no legs, one arm, but I'm gonna find a way to be inspiring. Like, when was it that it happened? When was that clicking moment that you made a decision like, all right, enough is enough. I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna become a bodybuilder, I'm gonna be a global keynote speaker. What was that clicking moment for you?
Yeah, I think the clicking moment was experiencing enough pain in high school, right? And so we need to understand that humans will change for two reasons. We either change for pain or we'll change for pleasure. But oftentimes humans will always run away from pain faster than they'll run towards pleasure. That's why most of y'all don't start going to the gym until the doctor says you're fat, right? Most of y'all don't start the business until you get broken up with, or you don't start going to the gym until your girl dumps you or the guy dumps you, right? It's like you oftentimes you wait till the pain is so bad until you hit a threshold, and then you make a shift in your life. And so if they want to know, pain is leverage, and we need leverage if we're going to make a massive shift in our life. And fortunately or unfortunately, but I would say fortunately, women in specific like scenarios gave me enough pain and enough leverage to be like, okay, Nick, you either take your life or you figure out how to take control of this brain and like work on yourself. And so I think my clicking moment was, I want a girlfriend. I want girls to love me. I want to be a stud. I want to be an athlete. And I can't change my no legs, one arm, but I can get a six pack and maybe I can look better in my body and feel better in my body. And so oftentimes, and I want the audience to understand this, oftentimes based on specific experiences, you develop beliefs about yourself that aren't true. Or what if I were to tell you that most of the thoughts that you think aren't yours, you picked them up along the way? You picked them up from the girl, you picked them up from the guy, you picked them up for your mom, you picked them up for your dad. The majority of the things that you're thinking about aren't yours. You picked them up along the way and you started to believe it. And so I had a specific experience where, you know, a girl made fun of me on the bus, and because of that experience, I developed beliefs that I was disgusting, that girls will never date me, I'll never have a wife, or I'll never go to my junior prom or my senior prom or these class dances. And it was that pain that I leveraged in order to catapult me into becoming a wrestler. Like this arm right here, this arm used to be 5 inches longer than it is now, and my bone was going faster than my skin. And it was super sensitive, and the bottom line is, if I would have hit my arm hard enough, my bone would have came through my skin. And so I was experiencing so much pain, but also I'd be curious in the chat here as well, how many of you at a point in your life were like, yo, I got more to be. Yo, I got more to give. Yo, this income I'm making right now, like I feel like there's a higher level for me. There's a high level of service and contribution and love and fulfillment. Like I had pain, but I also had this burning desire of like, yo, I got to be more. I got to do more. Like there's something more out there for me. And so that pain leveraged me to become a wrestler, you know, amputating 5 inches of this arm off to become a wrestler. And I'll tell you this, you want more money, you want more impact, start going to the gym. And you're like, well, Nick, what do you mean by that? Well, the truth is that you make as much as you think you're worth. In every single area of your life, you make as much as you think you're worth. You date the person that you think you're worthy of. You eat the things that you think you're worthy of, and your body is a direct correlation to how you view yourself. And so if you go get in shape, that confidence is going to spread into every bucket of life. And that was the first bucket that I invested in, was my health. I was like, yo, I'm trying to get jacked. You know, I'm trying to look good. I'm trying to look good naked. But that confidence and that certainty transfers into other areas of my life. And so that was one of the shifting moments of like, yo, I'm going to take this pain, I'm going to leverage it, I'm going to catapult myself into something really amazing. And that confidence also led me to the internet. I mean, the internet could be a very nasty place, but that confidence and that burning desire to serve people, you know, put me out on the internet, and that's where things started to change. But everything changed when I started to invest in myself, right? And that necessarily wasn't even money. That was just time in the gym, figuring out what to do. And the truth is, if you're watching this right now and I'm in better shape than you, right, this is your sign. Like this is your sign to like start investing in yourself, start hitting leg day. You got the legs and you skip it, right? Like start going, hitting the gym, investing in yourself, eating right, because that is going to flow into
Bro,
all the
thank
other
you so
buckets of
much for
life.
sharing that, because, it's something that, we all needed to hear. A lot of people, we tend to, take the gym for granted. And you said something so powerful right there where you said you make as much as you think you're worth. And, like you said, going to the gym gives you that self-belief. And going back to that clicking moment for you when you talked about the pain, for me, it brought me back to the moment when, I was in college. I was pursuing my dream of becoming a professional baseball player. Just so you kind of know a little bit about my story. And, I have been playing the game of baseball for 15 years. And, I was pretty good at baseball. I was a pitcher who threw 94 miles an hour. I was on the draft board to, get drafted and make my dream become a reality, bro. And I actually, my senior year in college, the last game of the season, bro. So think about how crazy this is. All I have to do is finish that game off, win or lose. All I have to do is come out of that game healthy. And in 2 or 3 weeks, I'm a professional baseball player. And that was the game that I actually hurt my shoulder, and my dreams of becoming a professional baseball player came to an end. And I remember the pain that I felt when that happened, because I felt like I let so many people down, my family, my friends, my neighborhood was counting on me for this, So, and for that year, I was in so much pain after that I was like, I got to that point where, like, kind of like you said, you kind of get sick and tired of being sick and tired, bro. You're just like, yo, enough is enough. Like, I can't be just the person that was going to become this professional baseball player, and now he's not. And now he's on the streets of New York, smoking weed every day, staying out till 3, 4 in the morning, waking up at noon, like, no desire, no nothing. And I hit rock bottom, bro. And, at rock bottom came my biggest blessing, and my biggest blessing was, being introduced to the idea of entrepreneurship, making money online. And, I finally found like a passion in it. And next thing you know, I took that and I found a hidden talent that I had, which was public speaking. And now I get, invited to speak worldwide and all of that stuff. But it goes back to what you were saying, is the pain. Sometimes you got to use that pain as leverage. And that's what I did. It was the pain of me not becoming who I thought I was going to be. It was the pain of watching the face of my parents, like the letdown, like, wow, this was our hope. This was our hope for our son to get us out of the hood and buy us that house in the Dominican Republic. And when it didn't happen, I could see the pain in their eyes. I could see the pain in my eyes. And it was tough. I want you to give us a little bit of a breakdown of, what's your mindset when you're going through these trials? Like, because I know a lot of us go through trials, and I know a lot of us are currently maybe on this call going through trials. Like, how is it that you're overcoming these trials and these turbulations that happen? Because we go through them on a day-to-day basis, and we're going to keep having them this year, next year, and for the rest of our lives. So what's the mindset? How is it that you're overcoming the trials and keeping such a strong mindset through it all?
Yeah, I love this, and thank you for sharing that as well. The thing we must understand is that you can only use your mindset tools when things aren't going your way. Like, yo, the only time you can pull out a hammer is if you got some work to do, right? Like, I'm not pulling out the hammer if my house looks perfect. And so that's the same thing for the tools and the strategies that we give everyone with psychology, is like, yo, your times of discomfort and your times of challenges, and when it doesn't feel good, these are the moments where you get to use the tools, and you either upgrade your identity or you go back to your old pattern. And so that's what I was mentioning before, is like, what if every single time that you experience trials or tribulations, that this was your sign that you were moving in the right direction? And I'll prove it to you. Average people don't have much discomfort. Yo, comfortable on the couch, I'm chilling. It's comfortable watching Netflix, I'm chilling. It's comfortable eating terrible foods, I'm chilling. The only people that truly have discomfort are the ones that are seeking to be more, to give more, to serve more. And so the first thing that I would say is, like, you can only use the tools when things aren't going your way, but also understand that there is a reason for every season. There's a reason for every season. And it's up to you to train your brain. And this is really important. Your brain is the best detective in the world, and your brain is always going to try to find evidence to prove yourself right. So if you have a belief of, like, I always get the short end of the stick, I'm just not lucky, your brain's going to find or create references in the world to prove that you're not a lucky guy. But if you had the belief that, like, there's a gift in every situation. There's a blessing in every situation. This is going to make me become more. You start to train your brain and nothing really affects you because you find the gold or you find the nugget in everything. That's like that famous saying, right? That's how you go from the world is happening to you and the world is happening for you. That's how you go from victim to victor, right? And so that's what I would say. Also, you mentioned like feeling lost and hitting rock bottom. Listen, my friends, I don't know who I'm talking to here today, but somebody's lost. Somebody's like, man, I can't find myself. Good, because the only way that you
Fact.
find yourself is you got to lose yourself first. Sometimes your creator, like for example with you, sometimes your creator has to strip you of everything that you know so you can catapult into the new identity. He has to redirect you. Maybe that's not the path. And it's pretty funny because when we make a plan, our creator laughs at us. He's like, that's funny, or that, you know, that's cute of you to make a plan, but really you got to surrender and just go with the motions. And so what you experienced as well was also like an identity crisis. And this happens to people. Like, how many of you in the chat right now were so tied to sports and then it didn't happen and you're like, what do I do? You see this in the NFL. You see this all the time if they get hurt, right? Like NFL, doesn't that stand for like not for long, because they always get hurt and they're out, right? And so a lot of the times your identity's tied into this one thing, and so you went through an identity crisis. Now, for those shifting and want to upgrade their identity, there's a few things that I want to give them to upgrade their identity. The first thing that you need to do to upgrade your identity is you need to identify what's your 2.0 version of yourself. What's your new compelling vision? What does that look like? Like, how much are you making? Who are you serving? How are you showing up? What do you look like? What do you feel like? What do you dress like? What do you drive? Like, let's start getting very, very clear on that 2.0 version of ourselves, right? Because oftentimes the only reason why people have anxiety, stress, or depression or suicidal thoughts is because they think the future is more painful than the past. Let me say that again. Oftentimes your suicidal thoughts or depression only comes because you think the future is more painful than the past, and you have to realize that you still have the paintbrush. You can still paint the canvas of your life, but most of you don't know that you're in control. So it's time to wake up and realize that you're in control. So one, paint the vision of what your 2.0 version of yourself looks like. The second thing is you got to get in rooms with people who are richer and smarter than you. That's like coaching is the cheat code to life, right? People are like, Nick, how are you such a phenomenal speaker at 26 years old? I study a man who's been speaking for 40 years who's the best. My standard is Tony, right? It ain't Toastmasters, and no like shots at Toastmasters, but I'm saying like I'm playing with the big boys. Like, my standard is Tony, the best in the world. So you got to continually surround yourself with people who are richer and smarter than you. Get in the rooms, pay for the rooms. I don't care what it is, but start rubbing shoulders with ballers, right? And then the other thing is you have to start following through on the damn things that you say you're going to do. Most of you just don't believe yourself. That's why you don't act, because you don't give yourself enough evidence that you are who you say you are, or you do what you say you're going to do, right? So humans, we run around all the time. We're like, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to close more deals and I'm going to wake up earlier and I'm going to dial more. I'm going to prospect more. And then you don't do it. You don't even, and then you don't even believe yourself. And so it's like the girl who cried financial freedom, the boy who cried breakthrough, the boy who cried, I'm going to get in shape. Like, I hear a lot of talking, but I don't see a lot of walking. Right? And so you have to build undeniable proof that you are who you say you are, or you are who you are becoming, right? And that's very, very simple, but success is simple, but it's not easy.
And that was so powerful right there, because I remember starting, like you said, I went through the identity crisis. And now that I think about it, what you just went over, the 3 steps, that's exactly what I did. I remember finding out, okay, this is who I want to be. I want to be this person. I want to make this amount of money. I want to speak on stages. I want to travel the world. I want to live in my purpose. I want to have a great relationship with my creator. And I identified who that person was. And then, like you said, get in rooms with successful people, the people that you want to be around. And I remember going to those events and investing into them. Bro, I remember I tell people stories all the time how, you know, I went to Bank of America at the time. I had pretty good credit and I didn't have money, because at the time, you know, at the beginning of entrepreneurship, it's a little bit difficult with the funds. So, and I didn't really have a job. So I was kind of just doing it, winging it at the time. And I went to Bank of America and they gave me a credit card with $7,500 credit limit. And I was like, you know what, I didn't use none of that for like nothing productive. I used it all for events. I bought myself nice suits. I paid for coaching, mentorship. I bought a ton of books, as you can see. Like, I invested, majority of that money was invested into me. I took flights, hotels, events, and I put myself in the rooms. I showed up nice dressed, three-piece suits. I looked like one of the successful people in the room, but what people didn't know, I was broke, but I just wanted to be there in the rooms with the successful people. I wanted to rub shoulders with them. I showed up with lists of questions for the people that were there. Okay, what's this? How did you deal with failure? What are the top 3 books that you would recommend me in? How did this and this? And bro, those were the moments that made me. Being in those rooms with those successful people were the situations in my life that gave me the breakthroughs that I needed. And if there's anyone that's listening to this, guys, everything that Nick is saying is so real, because when you identify who the 2-point version of yourself is, you get in the rooms with the successful people, and then you follow through with what you say you're gonna do is so key. And that's exactly what I did, bro. I was literally up every day, 5 a.m. in the morning routines, getting myself right, working on my business, pushing myself out of my comfort zone, doing things that I've never done. And bro, today I'm so grateful because of those simple 3 steps. You just broke it down for me, and now that I look at it, it's so awesome. So guys, everything that Nick is saying is 100% facts right here. Guys, type some fire emojis if you guys are getting value so far. And also send this to 3 more people. Let's get this live to over 300 plus. So Nick, as you were talking, I was thinking about it because I'm very big on the spiritual side of success. And we all know that, things are created twice. They're first created in your mind, and then they're created in the physical. So my question for you is this, and I think this is more of a personal question. Did you imagine all of this happening for you, bro? Like, was this something that you would sit at night before you went to bed and you would imagine yourself speaking on stages, getting mentored by Tony Robbins? Did you imagine it like this, or was it just something that happened for you, by law or something?
Yes, that's a great question. I think what I mentioned earlier is like desire. Like I knew there was more for me. There was more life out there for me, but I had no idea it was going to be this great, right? And my mentor taught me. He said, "Man, if I knew I was going to make this much money and this much impact, I would have did it sooner. I would have worked harder. I would have experienced it more." And so, I didn't like guys, and this is super eye opening. Is 6 years ago, I wasn't a speaker. I knew nothing about speaking, right? Maybe there's what like a foundational ability to articulate messages, but I knew nothing about speaking, know nothing about business. I knew nothing about writing notes, and man, I knew nothing, right? And we talk about the law of exposure. Once you're exposed, you cannot be unexposed again, right? And so the moment I was exposed with getting in a room with entrepreneurs and speaking, I dedicated my life to the craft. And I think that's one of the greatest things that I can give your audience is commit to digging your well deep of your commit to dig your well deep of knowledge, right? Like competency is confidence, competency is certainty. And if you want to transfer emotion and you want to transfer certainty, you want to close better, whatever it may be, commit to mastery and know 50 times more than they can ever ask you. That's how you know that you're an authority. That's how you know you're an expert. And when you walk into rooms, there's no uncertainty, there's no anxiousness, there's no scared, because you know that you're an expert. And so I didn't know it was going to be like this, and still to this day, like I don't know where it's going to go. Like I've been jumping to all these different identities. Like I love music. I have rap songs that aren't not even on Spotify that no one knows about. Like I got things. I'm always working, right? And so have intention, but also surrendered to the path, right? Like I'll tell you this, your goals and dreams and your ambitions will not manifest the way that you think they will. They will manifest it'll be left field, right field. You have no idea. Like for example, I wrote in my manifesto, and manifesto is like you writing your life as if it's already done 10 years from now, right? And I wrote like, I'm gonna have $100 million real estate portfolio. I know nothing about real estate. Guess what? Other day, guy comes to me, he goes, "Yo, I want," a very high level guy. He's like, I want you to coach me on speaking and keynoting and building the back end of a speaking company. Like I want to be your prodigy. And in return, I'm gonna get you into a commercial building that you're gonna own. I didn't ask for it, but what I did was I became the expert, I became the authority, and they know if they want to create a killer keynote and they want to, speak and build this business, like they're going to come to the kid, right? Because the kid knows what he's doing, right? And so surrender to the path, have intention, but it's not going to go the way you want it to go. If it would, life would be boring.
That's the beauty of it, and that's why I asked you, because same for me is like I imagine some of this stuff, but some of this other stuff that I've gotten and the things that I've been able to experience, I was like, yo, this has been amazing. And like you said, if I would have known it was gonna be like this sooner, I would have, jumped on it right away. And I love that you're so tapped in with this side of things, and I love that about you. But to talk about another one of the higher faculties, because I know imagination is one of them, but also your intuition is one of your higher faculties. And I remember going through some of your videos, and you talked about listening to your intuition over the little voices in your head. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I feel like a lot of people listen to that little voice in their head, and since the majority of our thoughts are negative, a lot of the way that little voice is taking you down the wrong path. So talk a little bit about listening to your intuition and making the right decision in life.
Yeah, I think intuition is also being heart centered, and I think as men especially, like ladies, I see you out there, but men especially, we're very logical. We're always in our head, and a specific practice that I've been getting into is getting into my heart before I serve, getting into my heart before I lead, getting into my heart before I'm on stage, because the heart, as Tony would say, when you're in your heart, you're smart. When you're in your head, you're dead. And so you make the best decisions. You serve. You lead. You're in your highest form when you're in your heart. And most men aren't in their heart; they're all in their head. And so if you can tap into your emotions and you could be heart centered, like that's when you can really serve. And so what I do is even before stage, I have a heart centered meditation. And it's this girl talking and just gets me in my heart and gets me in my feels. And the one line that she says that breaks me every time is like, she's like, don't you remember you signed up for this before you came here on earth? Like that you volunteered for this. Like, of course you're doing this stuff. And like, that makes me feel good. And so anything that like practices to help you get in your heart, experience gratitude, all the beautiful emotions, that's when you can lead at a higher level. But I'll tell you this, most men and most women are always in their head. They're not in their heart. They're thinking themselves out of things, but also your conscious mind doesn't know everything, but your subconscious mind knows all the answers. It's the greatest hard drive that you have. And so when someone asks you something, that first initial answer, that's usually the right one. When you ask yourself something, that first initial thing is like usually the right one. But let's put it this way. If say you believed in a creator in a higher form and a higher power, right? And your creator was giving you downloads, but you never acted on those downloads, of course your creator is going to stop giving you downloads. Oh shoot, let me say it again. Oh my goodness. If you're up there, like say you got a chord, like I'm in a video game and like he's holding the controller and he's like, yo, jump, and I'm like, nah. He's like, jump. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to jump. I'm scared. He's like, jump, and I don't do it. He's like, all right, I'm not gonna send you any more downloads because you don't act on what I say you're gonna do.
That was
Oh my
it, bro.
goodness. Yo, if you're getting value from this, you should just drop something in the chat. I see the chat blowing up, but drop something in the chat. Yo, Claudia, if you're listening, I need to charge
Yo,
you before
that
my
was
phone dies.
it right there. People, yo, and it's true. And you know what that reminded me of? I'm sure you've heard the story of the guy who, he's in the boat and he's in this city that floods, and he's saying, yo, I believe in God. God is gonna get me out of this flood. And a guy comes around with the boat. He's like, nah, I'm good. And then another guy comes around, and then the last guy comes with the helicopter. They throw him the ladder. He's like, nah, I'm good. God got me. And then the guy ends up drowning and dying. And then he gets to heaven, and he's like, God, what happened? I thought you were gonna get me out of that situation. I believed in you. And God was like, dude, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter, and you missed all 3 opportunities. So that's what that story reminded me of. And it's true, a lot of people do miss opportunities that God send them. Like you said, people miss out on these downloads, and God stops sending them because guess what? You're not taking action on them. You're not taking action on a download. He told you to take advantage of that business. He told you to read that book. He sent these people around you to put you there, and you haven't taken advantage of that. And I like that. I want to stay with what you were talking about, the subconscious mind, because I studied a lot of Think and Grow Rich and a lot of these great books that talk about subconscious programming and how important and how powerful our subconscious mind is. And I kind of want to know, what was your process like to reprogram that subconscious mind? Like, what were the things that you were doing on a day-to-day basis to program your subconscious mind for success? Because having your situation and your story and everything that you've gone through, I know it took a lot of subconscious programming for you to put yourself in the position that you're in today. So what was that process like for you, bro?
Yeah, for sure. So listen, that's one of the reasons why having a coach is so powerful, is because you have blind spots and you can't see them, right? Yeah, go ahead, take it. He's just gonna plug me in. I'm gonna hold it up. Thank you, Rap. And so everybody has blind spots. You can still hear me and see me? Good. So everybody has blind spots, and that's why you look at Kobe, look at Michael Jordan, look at Conor McGregor, like all the greats, like they always have coaches. They can't win these championships without the coaches, because when you're in your life, you're in the game, you're in the arena, and you can only see what you can see, and you can only hear what you can hear. And so the biggest tool that I've learned from Tony that helps with the unwiring and rewiring of the mind is called pattern recognition. And pattern recognition allows someone like a coach or someone outside of yourself to see a pattern in you that you may not see, so you can strip power away from it. But you cannot strip power away from something that you don't know is there. And so you need that outside voice and that outside opinion and those outside eyes. But also, if you want to do it on your own as well, there are techniques. And the one is start getting curious. And what I mean by that is, like, when anxiety comes up, start asking yourself, like, hey, where'd you come from? What was I focusing on that created this anxiety? What did I focus on that created my anger? Why am I triggered? Start learning about the laws of the universe, like universal laws that govern this whole entire world, or the sim, whatever you want to call it, the matrix. Like, there are laws that are universal that if you can start studying and be aware of, you can see them all around you, you can start to leverage them. So start getting curious, and also understanding that your brain is a problem-solving mechanism, and it's always going to give you an answer to the questions that you ask it. So if you want to better your quality of life, start bettering the questions you ask yourself. Like, hey, where is this coming from? Why is this coming up for me? Where did this stem from? It maybe in my childhood. Why do I show up like that? Why do I get triggered that way? Like, start getting curious about the way that you operate, so you can see the lay of the land of your operating manual, and you can make some shifts. But I think most people don't want to face the ugly side of them. They don't want to face the demons. And the truth is, this generation, y'all soothe. We do it. I do it. We all soothe. We soothe with drugs. We soothe with porn. We soothe with video games. We soothe with weed. We soothe so we don't feel the emotions and we dismiss them. And I want you all to note this. In order to heal it, you have to feel it. And if you never feel it, you'll never heal it. You want to start having some growth? Sit in that anxiety. Sit in that anger. Sit in that insecurity and see where it comes from. See where it takes you. See how you can strip power away from it. See how it's ruining your life. Shoot. Come on, man. It's like y'all are afraid to be alone because you got some ugly sides. But I will say this, from a brother to a brother and a brother to a sister, I love all parts of you. I'm here to support all parts of you, and you should love all parts of you as well. I mean, I have a lot of people. My brother passed away from addiction. I have people who in my life who are recovering addicts, who are sober now. And I mentioned, I'm like, love that addictive part of you, because now you're addicted to business. What if you were addicted to winning? What if you were addicted to serving? What if you were addicted to getting in your heart? Right? And so love all parts of you and find ways to leverage that part of you, that demon part of you, to be the angel, to be good, to do something good with that. And so I would say, get curious, ask yourself better questions, but also get new eyes and new ears inside of your business.
Always. And to add on to that, I actually learned from this book that I once read that it says you got to become best friends with your demons. Like, you got to get to know them. You got to find out everything about them, because you can't defeat an enemy that you know nothing about. So I think it's so important what you're saying, and it's so key, especially when it comes to that subconscious programming and putting yourself in that position, because that's what it's all about. Now, to kind of steer to something else now, this is something that I'm extremely curious about, because you've been around Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, you've been with the Ed Milet's, the Tony Robbins. Like, what is one thing that you've realized, or one thing that you've learned from these individuals while being around them, that you realize that it kind of, like, you see it in The Rock, you see it in Dwayne, I mean, you see it in Ed. Like, what's one thing about every single person that you've met that you kind of, it all relates, and that people need to develop?
The one thing is, no matter how old these guys are, they're still learning. They're still students. Like, Tony's still reading. He's still learning. After every single event, he's done hundreds of events. After every single event, he still sits down with his team and says, what can we do better? Like, y'all ain't working like that. Y'all ain't doing what these guys are doing, right? And so they're always a student of the game. One of the biggest wealth traps that you can fall into is thinking you know it all. The very belief that you think you'd mastered something is the very belief that's holding you back from your next level of life. I already know mindset. I already know sales. I already know how to prospect. Like, you're immediately cutting yourself off to being open to information that can change the quality of your life. And so that's what I would say is continue to be open, continue to be a student of the game, continue to pay for information, to continue to get in the rooms however way you need to. Because like I said, you'll never truly be a master, but the pursuit of mastery and who you become along the way, you won't even be able to recognize yourself if you commit to that. And so that's what I would say is these guys are still hungry, no matter sitting at $1 billion net worth, 800 million net worth, The Rock over $1 billion as well. Like, these guys, they're continually learning.
That's powerful, bro. And I'm glad that you told me that, because I just wanted to have that reassurance and that confirmation, because it's amazing. These people, like you said, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars earned, but still learning, still buying books, still finishing events and asking, what could we do better? And I feel like that's a mindset that we all need to start, involving ourselves more in, because like you said, some people think, oh, because they read this one book or they went to this one event or they did this one strategy, that they got it all figured out. But we always have to continue to learn. And that's the beauty of this business, and just the beauty of this journey, is that we're always learning. Now, a couple questions for you, bro, about learning as well. What are some books that made some massive impacts in your life? If you could give us maybe 2 or 3 books that made big impacts in your life, and maybe a couple of audios as well. What are some good audios and books that you read and listened to that made big impacts in your life, bro?
Yeah, so go get my book, Victim to Victor. That's just like my whole mental syntax, all the nitty gritty stories. But I'll be straight up, my first personal development book was Grant Cardone. It was 10x, 10x your life. And then the other one was Be Obsessed or Be Average. That was a game changer for me. Just to, like, when I'm around Grant expands my thinking. Like, I realize I'm thinking way too small, and all of you are thinking way too small as well. And so expanding your thinking with those books. Also, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. That guy's a wizard. That guy's a healer. That guy's a light worker. That guy is the real deal. And so that's like a whole unwiring and rewiring guide as well. I'd also say John Azaroff. Like, these are all guys that study the brain. I'm a big brain guy. So you got Tony's books, Joe Dispenza, John Azaroff. Like, all these guys are all about the brain. Joe Dispenza is more of like quantum field and tapping into like the collective knowledge and all the downloads. It's really good. And so those are like the main people that I study would be, Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Ed Milet. Like, these are kind of like my people. Andy Frisella as well, podcasts. And that's the thing, is like, we live in such an amazing time where, like, you could, in your phone, like right now, like, you're sitting with 2 studs, like, you're sitting with 2 ballers that are making massive impact and massive income just from the confines of your home. And we're doing this for free. Like, what a blessing. And so, like, you don't necessarily need to know these mentors in person. You can get in them with the virtual groups or their masterminds and stuff like that. There is no reason why you shouldn't be bumping shoulders with the people that you admire and you want to be with.
Absolutely. And I agree with that, bro. And I've actually read the 10X. I've dove into Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe. I've also tapped into the Superhuman one that he has, which is super incredible. I haven't finished it all, but I have it. And these books are great, bro. I'm actually grateful to know that I'm gonna have to catch on the Be Obsessed or Be Average, because I haven't read that one. So that's pretty good. In your page, in your bio, you talk about helping people overcome self-doubt. And, I know that self-doubt is something that I dealt with at the beginning, doubting myself. Yo, can I do that? Is it possible? Can I make this amount of money? Can I speak on stage and help people? What's that process like that you're walking people through when overcoming that self-doubt? Because I feel like that is what's holding so many people in our generation back from actually going out there and becoming their best version of themselves, and making that income and accomplishing that goal. And I know it's that doubt, because that voice in your head gets to you, and it gets to you to the point where you believe it. So how can we help people overcome that self-doubt, Nick?
Yeah, the first thing is that we're going to hold them accountable. I want everybody to note that accountability isn't something that you want, it's something that you need. And most of you would be at a whole higher level if you were just accountable with a group or a person. I don't care who it is, but someone holding you to a higher standard of life. And that way, when you're accountable, you follow through on the promises that you make within yourself, and you elevate your identity, you elevate your confidence. The other thing is, most of you don't have evidence around you that winning's possible. You don't see it in your family, you don't see it in your friends, no one's ever made that type of money in your life or in your family, and so you're surrounded by people who are giving you advice who don't have the life and the results that you want. You're taking business advice from mommy who doesn't have a business, or they're throwing stones at you. And so you need to get into a community where you can boast, where you can talk that talk, where you can celebrate your wins, where you can be yourself and let people pour into you. And most of you need someone like me or someone like yourself to breathe life into you, because there's so much negativity all around you. And so getting into a bubble, getting into a community of people who are doing big things, that's also going to show you all around that there's evidence all around me that winning is possible. Right. And so that's what I would say is you need accountability. You need like people holding you accountable. You need to get into a community of people who are doing things at a bigger level. I don't care whatever way you need to get into that room, you got to get into that room. And then also you got to be willing to pay to go further faster. I think like you and I, we both know this is like success rewards speed. So many people, like in the chat right now, if you've ever heard time is money, drop a yes in the chat. Time is money. Time is money. Whoever told you time is money didn't have time and they didn't have money, because time is infinitely more valuable than money. Like if I told you, hey, I'll give you $1 million, but you can't wake up tomorrow, would you do it? You wouldn't do it. I'll 10 million, 1 billion, you wouldn't do it. So you know that time is infinitely more valuable than money. So successful people, they use money to buy back their time. But how are you really operating, right? And so that's what I would say is like you need, and last but not least, sometimes you need to borrow your mentor's
faith.
belief.
I've heard of that.
Borrow faith, borrow belief. Like I will breathe faith and I will believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Right. And that's okay. Run with that belief. And so that's what I would say are the main things. Like y'all need to get in the rooms. You need to be held accountable. You need to play full out. You need to invest in yourself. All those things, even if it's uncomfortable. Like these are the becoming.
I love that,
So
bro. And,
that's what I would
I'm
say.
glad that you touched on that, because I feel like accountability is so key to this whole entire thing with what you said with the self-doubt, because sometimes people just don't have that accountability partner, or they don't have that community that they can, surround themselves with, that people are thinking bigger much sooner. And you start to surround yourself with people and you're like, yo, this person's winning, this person's winning. You start to have, like you said, that borrowed belief, that borrowed faith. Like, man, yo, this guy believes in me so much, man. I'm so grateful. Nick tells me all the time, I'm going to be the next 6 and 7 figure earner. So if he believes, you almost don't even want to let that person down, because it's like, yo, he knows I'm going to be that person. So like, you want to work to be that person, because you're borrowing that individual's belief and faith in yourself. And I love that you mentioned that. That was some fire. Guys, let's put some fire emojis in the chat box. I got like 2 more questions for Nick before we let him go. Nick, I'm very interested in your why, bro. I'm very interested to know, what is it that keeps you going each and every single day? Because I'm watching you, and every day you're in the gym, every day you're in a new speaking engagement, every day there's a new a skill that you're tapping into. You're telling me you got rap songs that you haven't even released yet. You're traveling the world, programs, mentorship. What is it what's that driving force inside of you that keeps you going regardless of what's going on in life and the circumstances against you? What's that why, bro? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I got a few things that push me. Some things are probably
Please.
bad and some things are probably good, and I'll give you all of them. The first one is my whole life people threw stones at me. You can't do this, you can't do that, you'll never be independent, all that different type of stuff. And so a part of me just runs up the scoreboard just to show them what time it is. I got to let them know what time it is, right? The other part of me is I'm currently working on retiring my parents. I want to give my parents a life like they gave for me. And so, all of these different things, the real estate, the rehab centers, all of this different type of stuff is to help, get my parents here in Florida, but help them retire. And so that's a big driving force for me. And then last but not least, I want freedom. I want as much freedom as I can, because we're confined and we have constraints all over. And like, I want to be able to go where I want, when I want, with the people with I want, like anyone that I want to, and do whatever I want to do. And so I think that's a beautiful thing. And what's even more beautiful about it is you can all have that life when you serve others. Life is qualifying you, my friend. Life has already qualified you. All the ups and the downs and the things that you've overcome qualifies you to turn around and help condense time for other people. And I think it was a Jim Rohn quote where he said, you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want in life. And I'm a big believer of that. But also, I'm a big believer that something greater than me put me here, and how dare me waste it? How dare me play small? How dare me, you know, stay comfortable, stay average. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to constantly expand my identity to show everybody around me what winning looks like, but also what's possible when you truly want something. And I love that you asked this question, because everybody needs a compelling vision. Everybody needs a pull, right? There's two forms of motivation. You got your push and you got your pull. Most of you have been pushing too long. You get burnt out. You need something that's going to pull you. And so for me, it's retiring my parents. For me, it's like, I have this vision of me rolling up in my McLaren to my jet to fly, like a guy with no legs, one arm, just rolls up with his McLaren, gets in his jet on his loan, and then rides out. Like, oh my goodness, right? That fires me up. But I also think about, like, yo, mom and dad, you want to go to Italy? Like, yo, let's take the jet, or let's go first class. Like, I love spoiling people. I want money to give it to people and to give them experiences and to love on them. And so that's where I'm at. These are the things that are driving me. And, but I got a chip on my shoulder to let people know what time it is, and that this young bull ain't stopping anytime soon. And if you
Dude,
slow
I
down,
freaking
I'm going
love
to pass
that
you.
that Mamba mentality that you have, bro. Because you remind me so much of like the way that I think to myself. It's like, and we have very similar lives, bro. A lot of people counted me out when my baseball career came to an end. My parents, dude, they gave me freaking everything, bro. Like, I even get emotional thinking about it, because you know what my mom and dad did for me. I'll never be able to repay them for what they did for me, you know. But if I can even come a little bit close to what they did for me by retiring them and giving them experiences. Dude, my parents have only been to New York and the Dominican Republic. That's all they know. They never seen the world, dude. Like, and these, like you said, bro, I do this, you know, to be able to one day be able to do that for my parents. One day I see the vision with me. When I close my eyes, I see myself handing my mom and dad the keys to that house. You know, here, this is for you guys. Thank you guys for everything that you did for me. I see us traveling the world and living in the beaches of the world and letting them see the world. You know, like, it means so much to me, and I'm glad that, you know, we're aligned with that. Last question for you here, bro. What do you have to say to somebody that, you know, right now, for people watching this that are just settling for less right now, bro? They're right now, they're just chilling at home. They haven't been pushing themselves to the next level. They've been kind of allowing their limitations and the outside circumstances to affect them. What do you have to say to that person to get them off their couch, get them off their bed, to go out there and give it all that they have for the rest of 2023?
Yeah, I would say your ancestors didn't build ships and kill mammoths and fight off saber-toothed tigers for you to be average, right? Like, how dare you disrespect your bloodline like that? Like, what a joke, right? And so the truth is that every 60 to 80 years, someone in the bloodline comes along and changes the game for everyone. They break the generational course, you know, the curses. They break the generational traumas. They break the money, all of this different type of stuff. And every 60 to 80 years, someone will come along and change the bloodline for the whole entire family. And if it's not you, your whole bloodline is going to have to wait another 60 to 80 years. How dare you, right? So it's you. It is you. You're the one. You're the transitional character. You're the one that's going to change the game for your family. And that's what I do. I help people get there, right? But, like, start stepping into the identity like, yo, I'm the one. I'm the one for my family. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that girl. I'm gonna be the one that changes it. I'm gonna burn it down. I'm gonna totally change my bloodline, and I'm gonna be the lineage leader. That's why you should do it. If you're sitting on the couch right now, like, understand that something higher than you gave you a gift, and that was the gift of life. And if you waste it,
Man,
oh
I'm
man,
so
how dare
happy
you?
you said that, because I was watching this reel the other day. I think it was Patrick David that said that we're holding the receipt to our family's generational curses right now, and we got to be the ones that pay that debt off. You know, because if we don't pay it, then we're gonna have to pass it down to our kids, and then our kids, and we don't know who's gonna be the one. So if it's on you right now, and you got it, we got to be the ones that pay. And I know that, Nick, I know right now you're paying that in full, and you're giving them tips, bro. So I appreciate you so much for everything, bro. Just one last little question. You know, how can we, you know, impact your life? What can we do for you, bro? You know, I know you're on this call. You just gave us all this amazing free value, dude. Dude, I think I'm on that 4 pages of notes already of all the value that you gave us. Guys, real quick, also in the chat box, how many pages of notes you got from Nick today? Let us know in the chat box. But how can we bring value to you, bro? I know you gave us all this free value, but what can we do to bring value to you, my brother?
Yeah, I really appreciate it, and, like, really grateful. Like, by the way, there's over 200 people who stayed on for over an hour. Like, I commend you and I applaud you. Like, most people are watching Netflix or they're scrolling on TikTok, and so what it tells a lot about you. and your people as well. I would say knowledge will only change the situation with implementation. And so apply the knowledge, right? But continuously seek the knowledge. But also, I would say keep getting in the rooms. You know, for example, I've done. Is it okay if I talk about something that I did recently that I kind of opened up? Is that okay? So for the last 3 years, all of my coaching, like if you wanted to get in my rooms, it was thousands and thousands of dollars. And I realized like that wasn't feasible. And the people that truly need me, I'm not accessible to them. And so when I dropped my inner circle, I told my team, I said, listen, I want to make this very low barrier entry and make sure that maybe it's like a dinner a month for people to get access to me. And so that's what I did inside of my inner circle. And we have a gift and we can give it to them a little bit later, like in a couple minutes. And I got a cool gift for your people and I appreciate you having me. But I would say is how you can benefit me is invest in yourself. Like I just want to see y'all win. I just want you to get in the rooms and get the knowledge and apply it and be the transitional character and come up to me one day when you come to one of my events or you're in my inner circle and you're like, yo, I closed the deal, or yo, I took my mom to this restaurant, or yo, I got the whip, or yo, I did it. Like I don't know what that is for you, but like that's what fulfills me. And this is the exact reason. Listen, the information's all around you, but most people don't take action, and that's exactly why you go on YouTube and you see a Cardi B video with 1 billion views, and then you go to a Jim Rohn video that can change your life and it's got 1,000 views. The information's out there, but if you don't pay, you don't pay attention, and most people don't want the information, right? So that's what I would say is find the information, get in the rooms, bump shoulders with the guys like you and I, and continuously be a learner.
Thank
and
you,
apply
bro.
the
Wow,
information.
that was so powerful, and I agree 100%, bro. People do gotta invest into themselves, and guys, Nick has amazing programs, you know, that you guys can take a look into. You know, he has a book that, you know, you guys can also learn from. There's so many stuff. This is something that I'm gonna start investing into myself, especially after this interview, bro. There's no way that, you know, I don't want to be I want to be a part of that inner circle, bro. So thank you so much, bro.
Bro, so I'll say something. I'll give out the gift, right? And I'll tell you this: if you don't take action on this gift, you should be smacked, right? And so for your group, and I'm really honored to be here. What we did was in the link, the link in my bio, I'm giving my inner circle to your group for free, for free. Like come get a little taste, get your free trial. Yeah, you're gonna have to put your card in because it'll charge you, but it's like I think it's $97 a month for the month to be with me. And I coach 4 times a month live on Zoom. But I also have a community. I bring in millionaire experts, but I'm giving it to your group for free. So if you don't tap in and get the information while it's free, like God's gonna give you so many more signs, you ain't gonna take action on it. Like, and by the way, like this isn't for everyone. Like, you got to do work. I'm gonna get you uncomfortable. We're gonna have breakthroughs. You're gonna maybe cry. You're gonna laugh, but it's not for everyone. But for a few of you, like this is gonna change the game. And if you don't jump in or tap in while it's free, I'll just let the success train keep on coming. That's all I got to say. The link's in my bio, and I wanted to do that for your group. Like, man, I've watched your profile. I love the way that you dress too. Like, you dress to impress, like high level. And you're like a young cat with like me, just like grinding and impacting and serving. And so I wanted to find a way that I can give back to your community, but you built something amazing. And I want to acknowledge you for like your hard work. I want to acknowledge you for your persistence. I want to acknowledge you for your heart to want to serve and to do these things for these people. They're not even paying for this and you're doing it and you're showing up. And so I want to acknowledge you as a leader and as a man, from a brother to a brother. And for those that are listening, like if you want to bump in and get rooms, like tap in. And if you don't, like, there's something wrong, because get the information while it's free. And I'll end on this. The most dangerous information is the information that you don't know. You're one piece away from changing the quality of your life. And I'm a true believer.
Thank you so much for those words, bro. They really do mean a lot coming from you, my brother. So thank you. Guys, can we type a thank you and some fire emojis? Let's light up this whole entire chat for my brother Nick, for just the love, the value, everything, the gift that he just gave us. I'm definitely going to tap in right after this call, bro. And I'm just so grateful, bro. The amount of value that you gave us was astronomical, bro. And thank you for your service. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for being unapologetically you, bro. Like, you just show up as yourself, and that's something that I could always respect and admire, bro. So I'm wishing you more love, more abundance, more blessings. Don't worry, bro. That jet with the McLaren win is coming. I already know it's only a matter of time, bro. And I know that God is gonna bless you beyond your beliefs, my brother. So again, thank you again so much for everything, bro. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. And if you have any last words, you can go ahead before we close it out.
Bro, yeah, I appreciate you. I want to have you on my show. So we have an office here in Boca. I'd love to have you out and interview you and put you up on stage as well. And I would say for those that are listening right now, maybe you're going through some things, you're on your last straw, and I want to let you know that your blessing has already been prepared for you. You're just getting prepared for your blessing. Keep going, keep investing, keep working, keep grinding, and one day you're going to look back and be like, damn, I'm the one. And I changed the whole game for my
Yes.
bloodline. I love you guys. Sending so much
Appreciate
love.
you, bro.
Tap in with me.
All good,
You
fam.
brother.
Wow, that
Later.
was amazing. That was amazing. Let's go. Man, I'm so excited, guys. That was absolutely incredible. Make sure you guys tap in with my brother Nick. 1% Talks has just been taken to another level, and I'm just so excited and so blessed for all of you guys. So let's make sure we tap in, show him some love. Make sure that you guys follow him on Instagram and just really take the information that he said and let's take advantage of it because that was fire. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if you needed this call, type needed in the chat box if you needed this, right? Because I can tell you guys right now, I needed this. Like, I needed to hear the things that he said. I needed to hear, some of the advices and the tips and the tricks that he gave us while we were here. And I think that was extremely powerful. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna wrap it up right there. As you guys know, we do 1% Talks every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. between 10 a.m. and 10:15 Eastern time. Next week on Tuesday, already confirmed, we have my brother Matt Rosa jumping on 1% Talks, guys. We're going to be having Matt Rosa, who is my mentor, and he's going to be allowing me to literally pick his brain and just talk to him a little bit about just life, business, and everything that we have going on. So just know on Tuesday, we have Matt Rosa flyer dropping. I will be posting the recording to this. And this is going to be an incredible live, fam. So share this with somebody. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day and an amazing rest of your weekend, guys. I'll see you guys again next Tuesday on 1% Talks. God bless.